Have you ever been in a relationship where, at first, everything feels perfect? The spark is undeniable. She's into you, you're into her, and it feels like nothing can go wrong. But then, out of nowhere, it all changes. Her energy shifts. The texts slow down, the affection fades, and you're left sitting in silence, wondering, what did I do wrong? What if I told you that the key to turning this situation around isn't in chasing her harder or trying to win her back? In fact, it's the exact opposite. The harsh truth is that most men lose in this game because they're too afraid to walk away. But today, I'm going to show you why walking away and detaching is often the moment where the power shifts back into your hands. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just understand why this works, you'll have the tools to completely flip the script. You'll learn how to stop being an option in her life and start becoming the prize she values most. Today, we're diving into one of the most transformative principles from Stoicism, detachment. The Stoics, some of the greatest philosophers to ever live, understood something thousands of years ago that many men still struggle with today. They knew that when you let go of what you can't control, you gain an unshakable kind of power. In our modern world, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of constantly proving yourself to women, thinking that their attention or validation is what defines your worth. But here's the uncomfortable truth: the more you chase, the less she respects you. The more you act like you need her, the quicker she pulls away. But detachment isn't about ignoring her or acting cold. It's about recognizing your own worth and refusing to put her, or anyone, on a pedestal. By embracing this timeless principle, not only will you stop feeling like you're losing her, but you'll also start living from a place of confidence, control, and respect, both for yourself and from others. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make this mindset shift. By the end, you'll know how to stop chasing and start being chased. You'll discover why she'll crave your attention when you let go, and how this approach puts you firmly back in the driver's seat of your life. So, if you're ready to reclaim your power, drop the endless pursuit, and start attracting women and people who value you for who you truly are, you're in the right place. Make sure to stick around until the end, because this lesson could change everything for you. Before we dive in, if you're finding value in this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Victory in Silence community. Drop a comment below with, "I deserve," to claim your worth, and share this video with a friend who might need to hear this message. Let's rewrite the rules together. Now, let's get started. 1. The power of stepping back, creating space for desire. Imagine this: you've been the one texting her first, calling her, planning the dates, and making all the effort. It feels natural to you. You want to show her you care. But here's the problem: when you're always available, she stops noticing your value. Your constant presence becomes background noise in her life. Now, what happens when you step back? Suddenly, things change. She begins to notice something is different. It's as if you've taken away something she's used to having, but didn't fully appreciate until it was gone. This isn't manipulation. It's human nature. People often only recognize the value of something in its absence. By stepping back, you create a vacuum in her life. And that vacuum gets louder the longer you stay away. Think about it: when was the last time she truly reached out to you? If she's gotten used to you always being there, she doesn't see the need to initiate. But when you stop filling every gap, you create space for her to wonder, where did he go? This principle is rooted in psychology. Women, and people in general, are drawn to what challenges them. If you're constantly available, there's no challenge. There's no mystery. And without challenge or mystery, attraction fades. It's not about playing games, it's about balancing the dynamic. By stepping back, you shift the power dynamics and let her experience the natural pull of curiosity and desire. Being too available sends a message you might not realize. It tells her that you prioritize her over yourself. Every time you overextend, texting first, asking to hang out, overthinking her responses, you're subconsciously signaling that her validation is your priority. And that's where you lose the game. Let's be clear. Stepping back isn't about punishing her or being cold. It's about reclaiming your time and energy. You're not ghosting her, you're setting boundaries. You're choosing to invest in your own goals, passions, and personal growth rather than chasing after her attention. This shift in mindset is liberating, not just for you but for her as well. When you stop initiating contact and give her the space to miss you, you're doing something profound. You're allowing her the freedom to make a choice. And choice is essential to attraction. When she realizes you're not always there to be her emotional crutch, she starts asking herself, what do I miss him? What am I losing? A society has conditioned men to believe they must constantly prove themselves to women, that their worth is tied to how much attention or affection they can win. It's an exhausting, unbalanced dynamic, and it's not true. You don't owe her anything. You don't need to chase, beg, or convince her of your value. Every time you chase after her approval, you're handing over your power. You're saying, please validate me. But here's the truth. The only validation that matters is your own. Your worth isn't defined by her attention or her responses. It's defined by the work you put into yourself, your body, your mind, your mission. When you realize this, everything changes. You stop being the guy who sacrifices his own goals and time to win her favor. Instead, you become the man who values himself enough to walk away from anything, or anyone, that doesn't respect him. Women are incredibly perceptive. They can sense when a man doesn't value himself. Desperation has a scent, it's palpable, and it's the fastest way to kill attraction. Weakness isn't appealing, strength is. Strength isn't about dominating or controlling. It's about knowing who you are and refusing to compromise your self-worth. The moment you show her that you don't need her to feel complete, everything shifts. Suddenly, you're not the guy blowing up her inbox or waiting by the phone. You're the man focused on his own growth, his own success, and his own happiness. And here's the irony, that's exactly what creates attraction. When you stop chasing and start focusing on yourself, you exude confidence and self-respect. You're no longer seeking validation from her or anyone else. You're walking your own path, and that's magnetic. When you text her, call her, or make plans and she doesn't respond or reciprocate, it's easy to feel rejected. But here's a mindset shift. It's not your loss, it's hers. If she can't see your value, then she's not the one for you. Stop basing your self-worth on her actions. You're not here to prove yourself to anyone. You're here to grow, to thrive, and to live a life that reflects your highest potential. When you do that, the right people will naturally gravitate toward you, and they'll value you for the strong, confident person you are. The moment you stop trying to win her approval is the moment you take back your power. And that's where true attraction and true fulfillment begins. 2. How she responds to your absence, the shift in dynamics. When you first pull back, the initial reaction might surprise you. It could feel like nothing happens. The harsh truth is that she might not even notice right away. In today's world, women are surrounded by validation. Their phones are flooded with notifications, likes on their photos, comments praising their beauty, and DMs filled with men vying for their attention. They've grown accustomed to this constant flow of external affirmation. So, when you step back, it doesn't hit her immediately. Her ego, buoyed by this endless stream of validation, may even tell her he'll be back. They always come back. This is where most men falter. They see her seemingly unbothered demeanor and think, maybe I should try harder. But this is precisely the wrong move. The key is patience. While it may seem like she's unaffected, that's just the surface. On a deeper level, something significant is starting to happen. Women, much like men, dislike losing control. When she realizes that your attention is no longer guaranteed, it disrupts her equilibrium. It's not about you playing games. It's about her recognizing that the dynamic has shifted, and she no longer holds all the power. Modern validation culture plays a huge role here. With platforms like Instagram and TikTok, women are used to attention being as accessible as a tap on their screen. But there's a crucial difference between generic validation from strangers and meaningful attention from someone she genuinely values. The former may inflate her ego temporarily, but it's the latter that truly affects her. At first, she'll try to mask the void. She'll post more pictures, spend more time with her friends, and act as if she's moved on without a care. Outwardly, she'll project an image of confidence and independence. But beneath that surface, a subtle doubt begins to creep in. She starts to notice your absence, not just physically but emotionally. She begins checking her phone, scrolling through past messages, and waiting for your name to appear. And when it doesn't, it stirs something deep inside. She starts asking herself, why hasn't he reached out? Is he losing interest? Has he found someone else? These questions create a sense of uncertainty, and uncertainty breeds attraction. For many women, attention is more than just a boost. It's a form of control. It reassures them of their desirability and their ability to command influence over others. When you stop providing that attention, it sends a powerful message: I'm not like everyone else. This disrupts her usual experience, creating a psychological itch that only you can scratch. But here's the important distinction. This isn't about manipulating her. It's about breaking free from the cycle of unnecessary validation. It's about valuing your own time and attention so much that you refuse to give it away unless it's reciprocated. Your absence does what no amount of chasing ever could. It creates space. Space for her to reflect, to feel, and to miss you. Space for her to recognize that your attention wasn't a given, but a privilege. Over time, that space becomes increasingly difficult for her to ignore. She'll start to wonder, what's he doing? Who's he with? Why doesn't he care anymore? And in that wondering, the dynamics shift. Suddenly, you're no longer the one chasing. You're the one being pursued. When she finally reaches out, and she will, it won't be because she's playing a game or following a script. It'll be because your absence has shown her something invaluable, that you're not just another guy seeking validation. You're someone who knows his worth, someone who isn't afraid to walk away. This is the turning point where the power dynamic evens out. It's no longer about who needs who more. It's about mutual respect and genuine connection. And that's where the foundation for a healthier, stronger relationship begins. 3. Why detachment increases attraction. The paradox of pulling away. One of the biggest misconceptions in dating is the belief that more effort always equals better results. Society tells men that if they just pour their energy into a woman, showering her with gifts, attention, and affection, she'll reciprocate. But the reality is this: the harder you chase, the faster she runs. Why? Because chasing signals desperation, and desperation kills attraction. Women are biologically and psychologically wired to be drawn to strength, independence, and mystery. When you're always available, constantly trying to prove your worth, you communicate the opposite: weakness and neediness. The hard truth is that women don't fall for the man who tries too hard. They're captivated by the one who exudes confidence and self-assuredness. Let's clarify something critical. Detachment isn't about ignoring her, being rude, or playing mind games. It's about reclaiming your energy and focusing it on yourself. Detachment is rooted in self-respect. It's about showing that you value your time, your goals, and your growth more than you value seeking her approval. This shift in focus has a profound effect. When you detach, you're no longer just another guy competing for her attention. You become someone different, someone intriguing. Why? Because a man who doesn't prioritize chasing her signals he has options. And a man with options is infinitely more attractive than one who doesn't. In today's world of social media, where instant gratification and constant validation are the norms, detachment becomes a rare and powerful quality. Most women are accustomed to men flooding their DMs, liking their photos, and fawning over their every move. But when you're not part of that predictable crowd, it forces her to take notice. She begins to wonder, why isn't he texting me? Why doesn't he like my pictures? That curiosity grows, and with it, so does her attraction. You've created a sense of mystery, a quality that has fascinated human beings for centuries. Detachment isn't about being aloof. It's about creating space for her to miss you, to think about you, and to realize your absence in a sea of noise. A man who's detached doesn't rely on external validation. He's not afraid of being alone because he knows his worth comes from within, not from someone else's attention. This kind of man exudes strength, and strength is irresistibly attractive. 4. Overcoming the fear of losing her. Freeing yourself from illusions. Here's the truth that keeps most men trapped: the fear of losing her. The mere idea that she might forget about you, move on, or replace you with someone else can feel paralyzing. You worry that if you don't text her, call her, or cater to her, she'll drift away. But this fear is an illusion. Let me ask you, what kind of woman leaves you just because you took a step back? If her affection depends entirely on you bending over backward, then her interest was never genuine to begin with. And if she walks away because you prioritized your self-respect, she's shown her true colors. Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. If she doesn't respect you, she'll never truly value you. And here's the kicker. Respect isn't something you can demand. It's something you command. You command it by demonstrating self-respect, by refusing to chase after someone who treats you like an afterthought. Fear is a powerful motivator, and in modern dating, it often becomes a tool. Women, consciously or not, may use fear to keep you chasing. Fear that you'll lose her. Fear that you'll never find someone else like her. But here's the thing, fear only works if you allow it. The moment you recognize that your worth isn't tied to her attention, you reclaim your power. You stop seeking her validation, and instead you focus on validating yourself through your achievements, your growth, and your passions. When you detach from the fear of losing her, something remarkable happens. The power dynamic shifts. Think about it. If she's the one fearing that you'll move on, then the roles have reversed. Instead of you chasing, she starts to worry about losing you. But this isn't about playing games. It's about creating balance. A balanced relationship is built on mutual respect, not on one person constantly proving their worth to the other. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop obsessing. It means you prioritize yourself, your goals, and your happiness. And paradoxically, this makes you more attractive. Women are drawn to men who are centered, grounded, and unshaken by external circumstances. So the next time you feel the urge to send that desperate text or make that unnecessary call, pause. Redirect that energy into something productive. Your fitness, your career, or your passions. The more you focus on building yourself, the more attractive you become. When you embody this mindset, the fear of losing her fades. You realize that the only person you truly need to hold on to is yourself. And when you live this truth, you become the man who doesn't just attract women. You command respect. Five. Focusing on personal growth, building the man she can't ignore. While she's sitting there, scrolling through her phone and wondering where you've disappeared to. You're not waiting in the wings hoping she notices your absence. No, you're out there grinding. Hitting the gym, advancing your career, and mastering your craft. In a world where too many men lose themselves in the pursuit of a woman's approval, you're rewriting the script. You're reclaiming your time, energy, and focus, and channeling it into the one person who truly matters, yourself. When many men get into a relationship, they unintentionally let go of their goals and ambitions. They stop prioritizing their own growth and instead begin orbiting around her needs and expectations. Hobbies forgotten, gym sessions, time with friends sacrificed. These men convince themselves that by making her their world, they're solidifying the relationship. But in reality, this self-abandonment chips away at their confidence, attractiveness, and sense of purpose. When you detach, you take a different path. You refuse to lose yourself for the sake of anyone else. You put your goals, dreams, and passions back at the forefront of your life. This isn't about ignoring her, it's about prioritizing you. Here's the beauty of focusing on your growth. It's transformative. As you become stronger, smarter, and more confident, people around you will notice, including her. The man she thought she could take for granted is now out there leveling up, creating a life of value and purpose. You're no longer just a placeholder in her life. You're becoming someone who might outgrow her entirely. This shift in power dynamic drives her crazy. She begins to see you not as the guy who's always available, but as a man of substance. Someone who's building something greater than himself. That realization creates a magnetic pull. Take a hard look at the parts of your life that you've been neglecting. Have you been skipping workouts, letting your career stagnate, or putting off personal goals? Start there. Pick up that gym routine, revisit the goals you shelved, and reinvest in your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. The process of self-improvement not only boosts your confidence, but also makes you less concerned about whether she's paying attention. Why? Because your focus is no longer on her. It's on becoming the best version of yourself. 6. How she begins to miss you. The shift in dynamics. Here's the moment when the tables turn. By now, you've stopped chasing her. You're no longer her emotional safety net, the guy who's always there to validate her whenever she needs a boost. At first, she might act like she's unfazed. She'll post pictures of her living her best life, spending time with friends, or even trying to make you jealous with another guy. But don't be deceived. Appearances are just that. Every time she unlocks her phone and doesn't see a message from you, that absence begins to weigh on her. She starts to feel the void you used to fill. In today's world where attention is currency and most people are glued to their screens, your silence is deafening. What happens when someone takes something for granted and suddenly loses it? They crave it even more. That's exactly what she experiences. The longer you remain absent, the bigger that void becomes. She'll start scrolling through old conversations, wondering why you're no longer there. That seed of doubt begins to sprout. Has he moved on? Is he seeing someone else? Or does he simply not care anymore? This isn't about manipulation, it's about breaking the cycle. She's used to being chased, to being the center of attention. But when you step away, she's forced to confront the reality of losing you. Modern women are accustomed to men competing for their attention. But when you refuse to play by those rules, you disrupt the dynamic entirely. You're no longer the predictable guy who's always there, always giving. Instead, you've become an enigma, someone she has to work to understand, someone she has to earn. When she starts reaching out, and trust me, she will, it's crucial to maintain your composure. Don't jump at the first opportunity to re-engage. Stay calm, stay cool, and most importantly, stay detached. Let her realize that your attention isn't something she can take for granted anymore. The power dynamic has shifted. You're no longer the guy bending over backward for her approval. Instead, you've become the man who sets boundaries, who values himself enough to walk away if necessary. This isn't about revenge or playing hard to get. It's about showing that you're a man who knows his worth. When she realizes she has to work to regain your attention, the game changes. She'll begin to chase you, not because you manipulated her, but because you've become a man worth chasing. 7. The realization of what she lost. The power of absence. This is the moment of reckoning. The point where she is forced to confront the reality of what she gave up. You were her rock, the steady presence who provided her with the attention she didn't even realize she needed until it was gone. Now, with your absence, that validation has disappeared, leaving a void she's desperate to fill. She might look to other men to bridge that gap, thinking their attention will replicate what she once had with you. But here's the hard truth: it doesn't. Deep down, she knows those men don't measure up to what you brought to the table. In today's world, women are bombarded with constant attention. Social media and dating apps flood their inboxes with messages, compliments, and invitations. Yet, this tidal wave of interest becomes meaningless because most of these men are predictable. They're too eager, too available, too ordinary. You, however, have stepped away from the crowd. By pulling back, you've positioned yourself as the exception, the man who refuses to compete for her approval. You've made it clear that you're not like the rest, and that realization begins to eat away at her. In economics, scarcity increases value. The same principle applies to relationships. When you were always there, your presence may have been taken for granted. Now that you've removed yourself from her orbit, you've become a rare commodity in her life. She starts to second guess everything she thought she knew. About you, about herself, and about the men she believed could replace you. This shift isn't just about missing your attention. It's about missing you. Your energy, your strength, your unique presence. She realizes that the countless men clamoring for her attention can't replicate what you offered. And that realization creates regret, curiosity, and a powerful sense of loss. This isn't about manipulation. It's about showing her, and yourself, that your value doesn't come from how much you give, but from who you are. When she finally understands what she's lost, it's not because you told her. It's because your absence has spoken louder than words ever could. 8. Why detachment empowers you reclaiming the prize. The greatest mistake men make in modern relationships is surrendering their power. Society has conditioned you to believe that if you just try harder, give more attention, more effort, more validation, you'll eventually win her over. But that's not how attraction works. Detachment flips this narrative. It's about recognizing that you are the prize. Yes, read that again, you are the prize. Most men today are slaves to validation. They've been taught to measure their worth by how much attention they receive from women or how quickly a text is returned. Social media amplifies this, creating a constant cycle of comparison and insecurity. But here's the reality. True power doesn't come from others' approval. It comes from within. Detachment is the key to unlocking that power. It's about refusing to chase, refusing to beg, and refusing to compromise your self-respect for fleeting validation. When you detach, you're sending a clear message. Not just to her, but to yourself. You're saying, I don't need anyone else to define my value. I'm building my own life, my own success. And anyone who wants to be part of that journey will have to earn it. Detachment isn't about being cold or playing games. It's about self-respect. It's about prioritizing your goals, your passions, and your growth above the need for external validation. When you stop waiting by the phone, hoping for her to notice you, and instead focus on leveling up, you reclaim control of your life. You're no longer the guy who bends over backward to please someone else. You're the man who sets the terms of his relationships, who understands his worth, and who isn't afraid to walk away from anything or anyone that doesn't align with his values. Here's the ultimate truth. Detachment isn't just a strategy, it's freedom. When you detach, you free yourself from the cycle of insecurity and neediness that traps so many men. You stop letting others dictate your emotions, and instead, you take ownership of your narrative. Women are drawn to this energy because it's rare. Most men are consumed by their need to be liked, to be wanted, to be chosen. But the man who knows he doesn't need to chase, because he is already enough, is the man who stands out. Detachment gives you the power to control your life, your emotions, and your future. It's not about what you lose, it's about what you gain: confidence, independence, and the ability to live life on your own terms. When you embrace this mindset, you don't just reclaim your power, you become unstoppable. 9. The final shift from chasing to being chased. In today's world, women are accustomed to being chased. They live in a reality where attention is abundant, where a single post or glance can bring a flood of admirers eager to prove their worth. Most men conform to this dynamic. They wait for a signal, a breadcrumb, anything to justify their pursuit. But you're not like most men. You've detached, stepped out of the predictable cycle, and set yourself apart. By choosing not to chase, you've done something radical. You've disrupted the script. You're no longer just another name in her inbox, another faceless admirer competing for her attention. Instead, you've become a puzzle she can't quite figure out. Why isn't he chasing me? She wonders, what's wrong with me? But the truth is, it's not about what's wrong with her. It's about what's right with you. This is where the balance of power tilts. Women are drawn to what they can't easily have. When you make yourself perpetually available, your value diminishes in her eyes. You blend into the sea of predictable admirers. But when you show her that you're perfectly fine, thriving even, without her, you become a rare commodity. Your absence becomes noticeable, even haunting. She starts to realize what she took for granted. The man who once seemed within reach is now focused on himself, on building a life of purpose, growth, and excitement. And this shift ignites something powerful: curiosity. Suddenly, she's reaching out with texts she never sent before. She's asking what you're up to, testing the waters, and feeling the burn of your absence. This is the pinnacle of detachment. The moment where the dynamic reverses entirely. She's now the one chasing you. But here's the key: you don't rush to meet her halfway. You set the terms. This time, she needs to prove herself. Your time, your attention, your energy. They're no longer given freely. They're earned. This doesn't mean you're cold or unkind. It means you've recognized your worth. You've earned the right to be selective, to protect the life you've built and the standards you've set. You're no longer settling for less, and that, in itself, is transformative. Detachment isn't about playing games or withholding affection. It's about standing firm in your own value. It's about recognizing that your happiness, your growth, and your worth aren't dependent on someone else's validation. When you stop casing, you take back control. Not just in relationships, but in every aspect of your life. Everything changes when you prioritize yourself. She starts questioning, wondering, and eventually chasing. But here's the most important takeaway. This shift isn't just about her. It's about you reclaiming your power. This isn't a strategy to get her back. It's a strategy to get yourself back. To reclaim control over your life, your energy, and your emotions. You deserve relationships that are built on mutual respect and value, not ones where you're left begging for scraps of attention. When you embrace detachment, you step into the driver's seat of your own life. You're no longer reacting to others' whims or seeking their approval. You're living on your own terms, and that's where true power lies. If this message resonated with you, it's time to take action. Hit that subscribe button for more life-changing insights on power within awakening. Drop a comment below saying, "I'm deserve," to affirm your worth and commitment to growth. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends who need to hear this. Together, we're building a community of men reclaiming their power and living with purpose. Start your journey today. You're worth it.